Welcome to episode 25 of Cougars on Cougars. You may notice that we have someone else that is not Jess or Mary on set with us. This is Sam. Sam Hiatt. Sam, say hello.
How's it going? This is exciting. I feel like I'm moving up in the world. This is one of my first...
Oh, yeah. It's always nice to have in-studio guests,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
On air, one of your first on-air appearances.
I feel like everybody always tells me I have a face for radio, but today I'm on TV, sort of.
Yeah. So Sam's an editor at Vanquish the Foe. So
Yes, and you can follow him on Twitter at @SHiattVTF. We'll put that up for you. But he's going to co-host with us today for a certain reason, just because we like him and having him on. But he was covering a lot of media day for Vanquish the Foe, and this episode is kind of going to focus a lot on that, and we're kind of going to give you an update.
Yeah, you might not have heard all of it.
Yeah, this is your condensed version, because there was a lot all day going on. So we're still going to start with our quote of the week, and it comes from someone special.
Here it is.
Competition brings the best of everyone, and it's not just at the quarterback position, it's everywhere. And it's at every school, too, regardless of where you're at. We obviously have a unique position, with two quarterbacks who have experience, but I think that's a good thing to have. It's a good problem to have, so to speak.
That was Tanner on the famous quarterback competition. Both him and Taysom did speak out on that throughout the day, right?
Yeah, constantly. And, I mean, to be honest, like, my first reaction when I kept hearing them, I felt like it was kind of a rote presentation, like, every time they, gave their answers. But I do think it's sincere, and I think it is a unique situation that we have, and you guys have probably said this before, but, I mean, they get along. Like, they seem to like each other. Yeah. They're both humble guys. Yeah. And I think they want what's best for the team. So in that regard, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and I think they both kind of addressed that they kind of know that fans in their heads are like Team Tanner, Team Taysom. Yeah. And they both were they both said that was ridiculous.
Yeah. I love that Taysom basically said, that's not a conversation that we have.
Yeah,
we
Taysom
don't talk about that.
Up in arms about it.
Yeah. And they seem to be unified in that too. Like Ty Detmer said the same thing, that they never... it's never become an issue of, dividing the team or anything like that. So
well, yeah, and I think Taysom said that, too, that it's just in the locker room, it's not an issue. They're not the crazy fans who are Team Tanner and Team Taysom. So they kind of put everyone in their places there. But I do really like that quote from Tanner. He said, competition brings out the best in everyone, and we have seen competition bring out the best in Tanner Mangum and in Taysom Hill. So we're excited for that. So we'll go right from that quote of the week into, we're going to have two Talk of the Towns this week. We'll have the Media Day edition, and then later in the show we'll have the regular Talk of the Town. But what's our first topic for Media Day Talk of the Town?
We have to talk about this, and that would be Pologate 2016.
Sorry, don't turn it off. We know you're sick of Pologate 2016.
Was that a hashtag?
No, I just called it that.
Okay. So you started it.
Yeah, well, I just called it that in my head. But I'm pretty sure everyone had an opinion about the polos. And it's so funny how polarizing they were, because some people were obsessed with them, thought they were the greatest thing ever. And then everyone, the other side, I should say, hated them. I saw someone, I think it was Wes Hawley, that was saying that they were one of the 4 worst ever fashion choices BYU has ever made.
That's pretty bad, if that's the case.
So, Sam, what's your take?
So, when I first saw them, I thought I was kind of upset, I see every time coaches have these new polos, we can't get them. I'm just it makes me kind of, I don't know, it's inside me I just get kind of jealous, or I don't know. But I think they look like life jackets. That's what I've decided.
Life jackets.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of things. I saw
because
overalls.
They have the vest. It's the gray part, and it makes it look like a vest.
Yeah.
And it I don't know. So once I thought that, I can't stop thinking about the fact that they look like life jackets. So I'm not really a big fan. I don't think I'd buy it.
Jess?
I really liked them at first.
What?
The first time I saw him was Kalani on Sports Nation.
Okay.
I was like, he looks pretty good.
Okay.
But then the more I saw it, and I think it was you that pointed out that they're a different color on the back. And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Wait, what color are they on the back?
They're two-toned, so it's dark gray on the front and light gray on the back.
Oh.
No, I think it's a black on the back.
I don't know what it is, but it's 2 different colors. To me, I hate them, just to be clear. I think it was everything. I think Jess is right. At first glance, it was kind of oh, whatever, but then the more you look at it, the more you're like, no.
Certain players, though, could pull it off.
I mean, yeah, Taysom looked fine, but like I said, Taysom would look fine in a garbage sack. So, to me, it was just I think the comparison I made was Mormons who wear tank tops over short sleeve shirts is what it looked like.
Okay.
it really looks like that.
Maybe this isn't politically correct, but could we say maybe it's a race thing? Like certain players, like white guys look terrible. Kalani looked good because he's Polynesian.
Yeah, Kalani pulled it off, I guess.
But can he pull off basically anything? Like that hair. Can we talk about the hair for a second?
Yeah.
So the hair was
Always.
like, that shocked me more than the polos did. Because I was like, man, like he's like, it's like high and tight. Looks like he's straight out of the military. But like he thought he looked good. But like if I did that, I'd look terrible.
He looked really clean cut.
Yeah.
He did. He looked good.
Yeah, Kalani was pulling it off.
I will say I liked the colors a lot.
Okay, yeah, sure. We'll give them that.
So, yeah,
The
I
royal
think...
and the gray combination.
Yeah.
So there's our...
Good idea. Poor
there's our
execution.
takes on it. That's our final words on the polos. What else?
So we heard that Nike is working on a custom shoe for Taysom. So what did you hear about that?
You know, I don't know much about it, but I want to see this shoe.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like this like bionic. Like creation.
I think I've
from,
heard
like,
them use that
some
word, bionic.
Crazy engineer out of Nike. Of all the things we heard on Media Day, it's like one of the coolest things. Like the shoe that's going to help prevent Liz Frank injuries, or at least help you progress post Liz Frank surgery.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, think about the kind of people that get custom Nike shoes.
Yeah.
Taysom Hill's on that list now.
Elite, which is, I think, a slogan that Nike uses. So I think Ben Criddle was asking for names for the shoe. Anyone have any specific names? I was thinking you got to incorporate the Tater 3000 or something. I don't know.
What's Tater from?
That's what Kyle Van Noy calls Taysom.
Oh.
You don't know this?
I didn't know that.
Taters.
Okay. Oh, because he's from Idaho.
Get it?
He hates that, doesn't he?
I don't care. Well, you're also from Idaho.
I know.
Anyway, that'll be cool to see. So, and we don't know what it's going to be named, but if you have suggestions, throw them our way. This was one of my favorite things to come out of Media Day. Ty Detmer and the dog filter on Snapchat.
Oh my gosh, this is my first time seeing this.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great encapsulation. I think we were just talking about like how much fun the team and the coaching staff are having, and I think that this is... You think, I don't know, maybe Bronco would let someone put a dog Snapchat filter on him, but we haven't seen it yet. So that was from the BYU Athletic Snap story, and then there was another one.
There's some good stuff on
we
that
really
Snap
liked.
story.
We talked about last week, not yesterday, how we were lacking in the Tanner Mangum model picture department.
He delivered.
Lo and behold.
He had good hair too.
Yeah, we could do a whole segment.
We could do Media Day
okay.
hair.
Okay.
You know how the best
Do we
hair
have a
though?
ranking? A hair ranking?
The best hair was... I don't know.
Easy, Dennis Pitta.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
did
had
know
good
that.
hair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
but actually Tanner, I tweeted about Tanner's hair and Tanner favorited it. I said that his hair has been 10 out of 10 lately. I don't know I do know he's cutting it differently. The fade up the side is a little
Do
different.
you think
but
he shaves in his part too?
Maybe.
Like Dennis said he did that. I never heard that before,
Yeah.
but that makes more sense now because I've always wondered how guys get the part to look so perfect.
They're all taking cues from King Collinsworth over there.
Yeah.
So those were kind of our Media Day highlights. Now we'll get into the real... Well, that stuff is real. I won't say that stuff wasn't real. We will get into the more X's and O's type stuff. So we brought Sam in. Sam wrote a lot of the articles that came from Vanquish the Foe about Media Day. So we were going to say 5 things that we learned from Media Day and 5 things that we wish we had learned but didn't. So
Okay,
let's get
go
started
for
there.
number 1.
Sure. So Taysom Hill's 100%, and that to me is surprising. I mean, we expected him to maybe be okay by day 1. We're not as far along as I thought we were going to be before he was fully healthy, is basically. And so now it's not even fall camp yet. He's ready to go. That's huge. I mean, because he's going to get all the reps with Tanner. And, that was exciting to hear.
Yeah, and I think that there was kind of another... I mean, it wasn't a surprise, but that they were going to name a quarterback. We were talking about how we weren't really sure and how even we didn't necessarily want them to name a starting quarterback and just kind of, work with both of them in tandem. But we did hear at Media Day that they will be naming a starting quarterback. So that's kind of new news.
And Taysom did go into depth talking about how he had met with tons of different doctors and basically done everything he possibly could to make sure that he is 100%.
Poor Taysom.
And I mean, he sounded really confident.
Good.
He looked really good.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, for me, it was really nice just to actually see Taysom and see him smiling and talking because he's been so sort of sheltered since that injury.
And sounding
really
confident.
Yeah.
Because part of me was like, is he coming back just because he feels like he has to and he knows that the job is Tanner's now and he's just going to like be moral support? But no, hearing him talk, he's back, he's ready, he wants to play.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's only inhibited by the coaches, really. They're the only ones holding him back. Like, he wants to play now, so that's encouraging.
Okay, what else? What's next?
So we are officially switching to a 4-3 defense. I think that was kind of guessed at before. I mean, especially with Kalani and Coach Tuiaki coming over. That's what they've done in the past, so it's not really a big surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise at all. I mean, for those of you who aren't really familiar, you got 4-3, so that means you have 4 linemen and 3 linebackers. In the past, Bronco's big thing was a 3-4. He liked to have 4 linebackers, and they do all these different formations and run around and try to confuse the quarterback. This 4-3 system, the way I describe it is like, it's kind of like we're lining up and we're going to beat you. Like, man for man, we're better than you. Like, we're coming at you. And that's totally, like Jess said, that's the Kalani thing. And we're not surprised to see that, but it's official that we're going to change to a 4-3. One of the downsides of a 4-3, obviously, is you have less people in the secondary or less people, like, behind the linemen. And so you're kind of more susceptible to the pass if you're going against a great quarterback. And so I think it made sense, Bronco, in the 3-4 because we maybe didn't have the personnel that a typical like powerhouse college program has on defense.
Yeah. We don't. Yeah.
So, but this year, I mean, honestly, like the guys we have in the secondary, I think, for one of the first times in my life, I'm more confident that like they're going to be able to be good against the pass. For sure. So we'll see.
Been a concern. Okay, scheduling news. That was one of the bigger things to come out of the state of the sport in the morning, is that they announced a bunch of game times, and the majority of those were at 8:15 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So,
yeah, those are late, but they're mostly on ESPN.
Yeah, on ESPN.
So that's really good for exposure. That's exciting for kids that we're recruiting on the West Coast or in our time zone that they are featured on ESPN. So I don't know. For us, it's easy to not complain about that because it's not that late for us. For you East Coast people, we're really sorry.
Yeah, have fun with that. I hope you have time to take naps. But, scheduling news, we'll put up an exact picture of that scheduling news. Injury updates.
Yeah, so injury updates. Obviously, we already hit the big one. Taysom Hill's fully healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We also have kind of Kua news. They talked about how he's had 2 shoulder surgeries apparently in the offseason, but he should be ready to go. And Kyle Johnson, they're not too sure about him. Mike Empey said halfway through the season is when he expects him to be back. So hopefully that's the case. It's better than missing the whole year.
Yeah.
And then obviously the really sad news is Brian Sampson.
Yeah,
sounds like he's
career
done.
Ending.
Yeah, sounds like he's done for the year. Steve Clark, tight ends coach, said that 95% chance he's not going to play again. So it's a pretty high percentage.
Yeah, but the good news, and more good news, was Travis Tuiloma.
Oh, yeah, right. Forgot about
who
that.
had the same injury as Taysom Hill, Liz Frank, and it sounds like he will be in good shape. So that's really good news. I think we suffered in the games where we didn't have Travis last year, so hopefully we will get to have him and keep him throughout the season.
He'll be an anchor on that line for sure.
He's a playmaker. Okay, and then the last thing.
So this was that Coach Satake kind of talked about the defense and how involved he's going to be, and he basically said, I trust him. He knows that Tuiaki's going to do the best he can, and I think he's going to be more hands-off, way more than Bronco is. There's
a really good article. We've got to give a shout-out to Keith Schurz.
Yes.
He wrote it up.
Yes.
Adam Vanquish the Foe, talking about this in particular. He's excited about it. It's an editorial. He feels like it's a great move to have a defensive coordinator and a head coach because there's a lot of things that's going through a head coach's mind during a game that if you're trying to do defense at the same time, it could be challenging. So you got to go read it. I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen either of them coach yet.
Right, so it's hard to say.
It's hard for me to say one way or the other. Yeah. Bronco's obviously a genius.
He's a defensive genius.
So it's
he
hard
totally
to say
is.
That was a bad route too. But so we'll see. But
we'll see. But it is different, and it's nice. I don't know. It's nice to have that trust among coaches, if nothing else. Oh, I said last thing, but we actually have a bonus.
I just thought this was interesting. This came from one of the webcasts that was done with Lauren Frankham, and we'll recap that probably in a week or two.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that Tanner talked about how he identifies as a Gryffindor, which
very important.
I don't think it's a surprise, but Gryffindor's courageous.
Well, but who was he in that interview with who said that he was a Hufflepuff?
Johnny Linehan. said he himself was a Hufflepuff.
Oh,
Johnny's
I thought Johnny said that Tanner was a
Johnny
Hufflepuff.
said he
Okay,
is a
Johnny is a Hufflepuff. So that was a great thing to come out of Media Day. So that is what we did find out for sure. So what about what we didn't learn? We kind of collectively came up with some questions that we had that didn't get answered. So, Sam, why don't you start out with our first one?
So we know that we're switching to a 4-3, but then my question, if I was there, my next question would have been, who are you who's going to be that extra lineman, or what's going to be like your personnel packaging for the 4-3 defense? I mean, in my opinion, it's probably going to be like Taki on the line or Harvey Longy, but that's, I don't know. Maybe
but that would have been a good question to ask,
Yeah, so I'd like to know that.
Good question.
Good. The other thing we're wondering is, we didn't hear from any of the wide receivers that were there.
We were talking about it, and so Moroni was there, and he was only in a small part of a web chat that wasn't even in English, so we didn't see him talk to any other media. Colby Pearson did talk to a few people from the media, but we didn't see Mitchell Juergens, who wasn't there, and he is getting married soon, so I don't know if it's tied to that. But another kind of glaring absence that we felt was Nick Kurtz. So, without saying too much, there have been some rumors swirling around that he is experiencing an injury.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks. But again,
but should be back for the first game.
Yeah.
So 6 to 8 weeks from now isn't the end of the world, right?
Yeah.
No, not at all. But if he's not going to be at fall camp and taking reps, I would like to know about it. So I would have liked to hear someone ask Ben Cahoon where all of the receivers are and where Nick is.
Yeah, I would like to see Jonah Trinnaman too.
Yeah, I agree.
Jonah
He seems like a really if you're talking you're ranking people for Media Day, he would be high on my list.
Agreed.
He seems fun. So I don't know. Okay. Our next one was about Tajon.
Yeah, he wasn't there either.
No.
So the question is he going to be playing center or is he not? What do you think?
Yeah, the coaches seem to be reassuring that he's going to be on the team. Like they said that multiple times. But there have been, there's rumors that he's going to be fullback, which I think he'd be great at that position, but I think he'd be better as a center. He was a beast, for lack of a better term, on the offensive line last year. He was really missed when he was out. But we didn't seem to get much clarity on what position he'd play. Yeah. We just didn't really hear much about him other than that he will be back. So that's good news. Yeah. But I wouldn't have hated seeing someone probe a little bit further about his role on the team when he is back.
Mm-hmm. Mike Impey did say that Parker Daw, who started in spring, will be starting in fall camp, and that Tajon will be there, but he didn't say anything.
And given that Mike Impey is the offensive line coach, and he's the one talking about Tajon, it makes you think that he's probably going to be on the offensive line. But that was just one.
Yeah.
Tidbit I had.
Would have been a nice thing to ask Coach Impey.
Yeah.
So, okay, our next one.
So who will be the kicker?
Who will be the kicker?
I don't lose sleep over kickers, to be honest. I know that some people really get concerned about good kickers.
We'll miss it if we don't have a good we're not concerned about it, but we'll miss it if we don't have.
Yeah,
how frustrating is missing extra points?
That's pretty frustrating. Go for 2. Never
no Bronco left.
Never.
So there was a freshman kicker who walked on, James Baird,
who we heard is doing pretty well. And did we also say we heard rumors of maybe Johnny being a place kicker?
Maybe a place kicker, yeah. So
he could.
Why not?
So anyway, we could have asked someone about that. Who's coaching special teams? Is it Impey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another question for Coach Impey. And then our fifth question for this one, the fifth thing, Corbin Kaufusi. So obviously he wasn't there. I was saying it's like basketball and football are his divorced parents, and he has very specific time frames that he spends with each of them. So this month is basketball, and so he was not at Media Day because he was at basketball camp.
There you go.
But we didn't hear anyone ask about him, and to be honest, he is one of the more exciting things happening on the football team right now. Everyone was surprised by the news that he was going to play both sports, and I know that a lot of people on Twitter want to see him at tight end, but I think that his switch was on defensive line is where he's set, or where he was initially going to play, but now we've lost all this depth at tight end, so he could play there, but I think it would have been interesting to ask a coach. I don't know. Do you think they just don't know because he's not with them yet?
Yeah, you're asking. I don't know anything about Corbin Kaufusi. Doesn't seem like anybody really writes about him. Doesn't seem like anybody really talks about him.
I know.
All we know is that he's playing football, apparently.
Yeah, that's what we hear.
And he played tight end in high school and offensive line, so
I will say on Sports Nation, they asked Tuna Canuch about who are sort of the other beasts in the locker room besides him and Taysom, and he mentioned Corbin specifically.
So has he been in the locker room? I don't know how
in the weight room, I guess.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sam had a final question.
Yeah, I'm surprised. So I think you got to ask this question in a way in which there's no yes or no answer, right? And Jess is a lawyer, so she should be really good at asking questions and getting responses. But you got to ask about Britton Covey. I mean, think about how many articles you can write just from that one question. So you word it like you say, how intensely have you been pursuing Britton Covey on his mission? So
you can't answer that yes or no, yeah.
The worst thing that happens is Kalani just says, oh, I'm not going to answer that question. And then we get a body language doctor.
Yeah,
I hire them or somebody does, and we figure out what the answer is.
That would be a really fun dead season series post.
That. Yeah.
And the last thing we wanted to mention was Taysom at Media Day. I work at KTV, and I was taking a screen cap of Taysom speaking in an interview with 2 News, and I couldn't get a good one. The best one I could get was this, where he is making this eyebrow raised face, looks super suave, looks super smug, kind of. And we kind of turned it into a little meme game competition. The one that I made was the obvious answer, where it said, do you even lift, bro? Which is a question Taysom might ask. I mean, he can bench 340 pounds. This is another thing we learned coming out of Media Day. What else did we get?
At Blaine Jacob on Twitter says, does it look like I care if I'll be 26 when the season starts?
Because he will.
That's been joked about a lot.
Sam, this one came from Y for Life.
Your face after a millionth fan tells you to stay healthy. That's good.
That's good. That's a good one. And then there was this other one from Hobo.
Bring it all back together.
Speaking of the polos, yes, ending it where we started. When you try on the new polo and see yourself in the mirror. So that's where Hobo stands on the polos.
If you have a Taysom meme for us, please send it.
Oh, yes. Please.
Yep. But yeah, there's your Media Day recap. Welcome into our regular Talk of the Town for this week. So the first thing that came up was that Jordan Chapman, we found out where he was transferring, and that is to Boston College. Mm-hmm. So they were the bottom dwellers of the ACC, but
0-18.
Good for him. He'll probably get playing time, and he gets to do the law school thing. So
sure, and it was really interesting. We found that out from his dad's Instagram. There were 11 schools that were pursuing Jordan, which is that's a lot of schools.
So only 3 of them have law schools, though. So
yeah. Good for him. We wish him the best, and now we're just waiting to hear where Corey Calvert is going to go.
Yeah.
So in other news with former basketball player Brandon Davies, he actually signed a summer league deal with the Detroit Pistons. So be watching out for that. He should be on TV hopefully next couple weeks playing the summer league. So that's exciting.
Yep, him with the Pistons, Jimmer with the Nuggets, like we've mentioned. This is adorable. Eli Bryant's little brother. I think his name is Kai, but he said little bro put on hashtag Mr. Hustle. It looks like he won the Mr. Hustle award at basketball camp.
He has his game face on.
Yeah, he does.
So we got some pictures of Elder Celius this last week on his Instagram account. And yeah, I tweeted out saying that Mary hadn't obviously kidnapped him yet.
I'm not gonna cry.
So missionaries can have Instagram?
No.
Someone's running it for him. But yeah, that's his account. So. Yeah, good pictures. I love the classic cornfield one.
Is this heaven?
Yeah.
Ooh, Sam?
Should we do this?
Sam gets our wedding segment.
This would be Eric.
Oh,
Mika.
yeah. It's hard to see who that is. Eric Mika.
Yeah, he's out of focus.
He's engaged?
Mm-hmm. He's engaged too.
Yeah, we knew that happened quickly, right? As soon as he got home from his mission.
It was 3 weeks or something.
Yep, so they're already getting their engagement pictures taken, so look for that wedding date to come down sometime soon. This was really fun. So Sweetie Satake, Coach Satake's sister, was tweeting about some private event that was going to happen at the BYU football offices and piqued all of our curiosity. Come to find out that the Prince of Tonga was in town, and he made a visit to the BYU football offices. So here is the Prince of Tonga with all of the members of the BYU football staff who are of Tongan descent. So again, you hate to compare Bronco and Kalani, but if it was still Bronco, the Prince of Tonga probably wouldn't have been stopping at the BYU football offices.
Good point. Yeah,
I don't know though. Maybe.
Cool picture. And then Harvey Longy tweeted out that it was Garrett Juergens and Parker Daw that got awarded scholarships this last week. So
we love walk-ons getting scholarships.
Yeah, that is really exciting.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be taking videos of these things.
I know.
Gosh. Okay. Anyway.
This is funny.
So Mike Leach, I guess his son goes to school there now. Or
daughter.
His daughter goes to BYU, yeah.
Okay, so he's at the Cannon Center, which that just screams BYU right there.
The offensive coordinator who wasn't. Yeah, I think at first I didn't know his daughter went to BYU, so I was like, what the heck is Mike Leach doing at the Cannon Center? But now it makes sense.
Yeah, that would be a strange place for him to be.
Hope it was good food for him.
This one is fun, Jess.
This is just an edit of NCAA Football 17, so this is the Go Cougs edition.
Which hasn't existed for like 5 years, but
yeah.
Nice.
Whatever you gotta do to get recruits, I'm all for it.
Hey,
they
cool.
like edits like that, so.
And it's a good one.
And then finally, we wanted to end on this note. It's from Chad Lewis, and he said, how about a sweet photo to get the weekend started? Obviously, that was from the beginning of the weekend before 4th of July. Yes, we just hope you all had a great 4th of July and that you like our American flag.
The only thing coming up is the Fireside in Orlando on July 10th.
I think I didn't know there was going to be a Fireside in Orlando. Are we playing a team in Orlando?
Not in Florida.
Because they were coordinating the Firesides with those, so I think this Orlando one is like a little random and was kind of like an afterthought. I'm not sure why it's happening.
They were probably feeling left out.
I guess so. But yeah, so I think Coach Sataki is going. I saw that Tanner, I think, is going. So if you're in Florida, there you go. This week's show was brought to you by Green Me. Here's the basketball team enjoying some Green Me. Kyle and Chase would be proud.
Yes, they would.
Show's also brought to you by the color royal, and apparently royal is the new black.
It's the new black.
According to Coach Satake.
Yes.
And finally, we're brought to you by Baby J. Keep fighting, little guy.
Yes, we are sending you our thoughts and prayers. May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Sam and Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.